What's going on YouTube? This is Deke back with another video on Wonderkids that I'm interested in the game Sorare. So if you haven't seen the earlier parts, I've gone through each positional group and we are on center attacking mids. These guys play a couple other positions as well, but just kind of a majority of these guys play center attacking mid. So if you're not familiar with the series, this is basically just guys that I think are underpriced or have some upside in the future. So these aren't guys that might pay off this year even. Some of these guys, especially in this list, this is a down the road kind of thing, and I'll explain why. But these are guys that I'm probably either going to play and pick them up, or I'm watching their price, maybe try and get a little bit better price in their current market. Hopefully everyone's week is going well. I am currently sweating Jesus Ferreira. If you can get like a 90 spot, I might get a tier 1 under 23, which would be nice. But hopefully you guys had a good game week, and we have a little bit of short week next. And I think I only have a few lineups, but I'll go over my lineups maybe in a separate video, and we'll do our rewards just like last week. So that's what you can kind of look forward to maybe tomorrow or the next day whenever I do that. So let's get started. First up, we got Youssef Demir. Notably was on loan at Barcelona. He struggled, but he is definitely a wonder kid. He has huge upside. He's only 18. He just turned 18. So all of this has happened, and he's only 18. That's the big thing to take away. He had a roller coaster year, but he had a really good under 19 Euros, which I really like that. I think his price, at his floor right now is not as great. Whenever I was kind of going through my list, it was about June 1st, and it was down in this range. So, a little bit cheaper. But it's still, it's not a super bargain, but it's still a guy that I think that price down the line, if you're long gaming this like I am, if you're thinking, 5 years in the future, I think he has the upside to be a top guy, especially at Rapid Wien in the Austrian Bundesliga. I think he could tear it up next year. He honestly could. It's just kind of, will he? His scores weren't that great. He was bouncing in and out of the lineup. But when he started, let's just take a look at some of these. Let's just go just starts. A lot of yellow, okay? You got to remember, this is a 17-year-old kid playing these games. So, he started for Barca, took the world by storm in September 2021. He's starting at striker for Barca, crazy on loan. And then whenever he came back, and this is just this past season, you take a look at some of these, start at center mid here, striker, right attacking mid. So he actually hasn't played Cam, but he scored 70.5. 46, 50, 39, 42. There's a lot of room for improvement. He only played 90 minutes one time. I really think this year his stock is going to soar. Again, not financial advice. None of these videos are. But in my opinion, I'm probably going to, I don't want to pay that much, but I probably will. Because I do think he could 2-3x by this time next year based on his upside alone. Next guy is Aaron Molinas for Boca Juniors. So this kid is kind of, whenever his cards came out, you can kind of see where he's at. He is a 21-year-old who's turning 22 August 1st. He's been on a steady rise, so you can see where he's kind of at in this young season so far. As you can see here, he's played in 7 of the last 9. And whenever he's starting, he's in a great situation. As you can see, his last time out, they lost 3-0. But with all these fixtures for Boca, they have to rotate. So it's a little bit tricky. You got to figure out when he's playing, when he might come on as a sub. But, he stayed on the bench these 3. Those go back to last season. But if you take a look at, I guess that was this season, because they didn't have that super long break. If you take a look at these starts, though, the last time out, 64.7. That's why his price has gone up a little bit. At Cam, he played defensive mid here, 77 minutes, 52.4. a nice one. He had 74 here, 62.7 here. You know, he is starting to get comfortable, and you take a look, he has these upside games. His current price is 0.0346. That has hiked up a little bit recently due to the current form. Whenever I was putting this together, again, that price was a little bit more appealing, so I shouldn't have waited. I should have pulled the trigger earlier. But another guy that I like, and if you're looking for some under 23 depth in your limited teams, this would be a guy that I would definitely take a look at. I would say I'm probably going to pull the trigger on the first two. Just kind of, you know, you don't want to wait too long, but I might see maybe he'll be a sub, kind of just based on how this is in the next game week, and then maybe I'll pounce whenever the price drops a little bit, but that's kind of my plan. Next up, we have Nene Dorgelis. I'm not sure on the exact there. This is a very interesting kid. So he is 19, turns 20 December 22nd. He is owned by Salzburg. He was on loan at Ried in the Austrian Bundesliga last year. So if you take a look, he had a really good season. A couple upside games, you know, but he came the second half of the year, and he's basically starting every game. 3 times he didn't. 2 of those, he was off the bench. And the other one, this DMP, not in the squad, that was for his country of Mali. So you can get a couple maybe extra games with the national team as well. He's playing well. You know, he's scoring. He is a little bit goal dependent, you know, decisive dependent. But that brings us to this year. This year, he is on loan at Westerlo in the Jupiler Pro League in Belgium. They were newly promoted, so he will be getting points. I think this is a good situation if you need a forward, especially for under 23 at a cheaper price. He's really developing. He's getting that game time. He is young, but 0.0399 it's 39 euros. It's not the, you know, that's a threshold. You know, if you get your next threshold, I got a threshold this time around. Maybe that's what I put into that. So that's what I'm going with. So I have not bought any of these players yet, which brings me to the player that I have bought. This is a long down the line. So Barak Ince for Bielefeld in the Bundesliga. I bought the top. You know, I bought when I shouldn't have. You can see right there, 0.0169. The current floor price is 0.0218, but you can see how this is going. They were relegated. Okay, I fully knew that going into this. I was thinking, okay, this is an upside. I should have waited longer. Frankly, I should have waited longer. I love the situation of getting relegated. As weird as that sounds, he is 18 years old, turned 18 halfway through the year. He needs to get game reps. He needs to kind of build on that. He is kind of Turkey's next wonder kid. They have a nice group there of younger guys kind of coming up through the ranks. I really like him. Here's my decision on getting in on him. This is not for, you know, this year. This is not for next year, maybe even. Obviously, he's not going to get points, but he's going to get game reps. If he can, if they can get back into the top league, that'd be great. B, I think he moves from them if they don't move up. This is a long game. I am definitely taking my time on some of these investments. I'm thinking of them as an investment. This is 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. I love Sorare. I really want to get involved. You know, I love these kind of players, these young players. If you ever played like FIFA or Football Manager, this is the long game, you know? You buy a 17-year-old and then, you know, like 5-6 years later, he's in your starting team. So this is kind of a domino that I'm going to make already made. But here's kind of the guy that you're getting. He hasn't played much. I think this year playing in the second tier of German football, he's going to get more game time. I'm excited on this kid. The upside is there. The only thing is he's not going to get any points, but I'm not really worried as far as my teams. I probably have 25 guys that I'm sitting on, and I think his price is going to go. I wouldn't buy his current floor price just because based on what they've gone, they're going for €8. You can wait on this guy. Everyone knows that they went down, so that's kind of maybe halfway through the year if you're going to make a play on him. His price is probably still going to plummet. I made a mistake there. Don't make that same mistake. And my last guy that I have, this is Ivan Sorare. Plays for Zagreb. A great situation to have any players on that. In my last video, I talked about that. They are studs. He hasn't played for them. What he has done, he just turned 19 in May. He made 21 appearances for their second team, which their second team is pretty good. They have a lot of youth talent in the organization, in the club. Another upside long-term play. This is not, hey, we're not trying to get points anytime soon. This is his value going to go up down the line? I really think it will. If you take a look at his current price, excuse me, it's gone up. And then it kind of dropped back down into these. This is a cheap entry for a guy that has some upside. These guys all have upside. Will all of them work out? Absolutely not. That's the game of football. It's some of these young kids are just gonna not end up sticking. But his current year, what we're talking about, he is loaned out to NK Bravo in Slovenia. So he will not be getting any points. I'm fine with that. Another guy that I'm fine with, I have not bought him yet, but I really think I will be buying him shortly. So another one that if you have some ETH and you want to tie it up in a year, I know that's not the sexiest thing to do. I would do it. That's kind of my thinking. If I put it a little bit aside in a year, 2 time, you're going to get the return on it. It's just, do you want to tie that amount up? These aren't huge plays. I mean, €10, that is nothing for his current, going price. So that's kind of the bargain guys that I'm trying to figure out. I'm not going to say, okay, for Cam, Musiala from Bayern or Pedri, from Barca. I'm not going to give you those guys. Everyone knows about those guys. I'm trying to get under the radar, cheaper guys, and that's kind of the point of this series. Hope you guys liked it. Hope your lineups are working out to the best of their ability, and we'll check you. I believe we're going to get into wingers and then strikers, and then we are finished with this series. Go ahead, drop a like if you're still with me to this point. I really appreciate you guys watching, and any comments. Comment your favorite cam that you have in your club, and I can obviously check them out as well. Thanks. See you guys later.